I want to start this by saying I pray for a speedy recovery when it comes to Kyrie Irving. In a season that was filled and that has been filled with turmoil when it comes to the Dallas Mavericks, the one bright light in this entire season has been Kyrie Irving. I think he missed maybe 12 games, but the games that he was playing, I think he was the only player in NBA or in the NBA this year that was shooting, over 20 points and was shooting 50, 40, 90 possibly. Kyrie was having a incredible season. Another underlining topic for this show is going to be about coverage and how we cover these athletes, how we cover former, present, future athletes. Now, no, I'm not going to go into the whole media versus NBA thing. I talked about that last episode. If you want to go check that out, check it out. But again, I wish for a speedy recovery when it comes to Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving, the other night, tore his ACL, out for the season. Again, when I say it has been a turmoil-filled season for the Dallas Mavericks, this is just yet another example. Look at how we looked at the Dallas Mavericks before the season started. They just came off of an NBA Finals appearance. They get Klay Thompson. You have probably and arguably the best backcourt in the NBA in Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. You think to yourself, okay, we got to the finals. We got to a conference finals. We are going to run it back. Look and just imagine the hope, the excitement, the joy that that the Dallas Mavericks had going to the season compared to how it is being a Mavericks fan right now. I said I don't believe in sports gods or anything, but I do believe in the energy that you put out, you're going to get back. It has been talked about for the longest about, obviously, the Luka Doncic, Anthony Davis trade. And contrary to popular belief, I know that when the trade happened, I was unsure if Dallas should be considered a championship caliber team. But when you look at the players that they had, when you look at Kyrie, Klay Thompson, Anthony Davis, along with Daniel Gafford, along with Derek Lively, along with PJ Washington. That is a formidable team, especially when you talk about the Western Conference. So when you look at that roster, perfectly healthy, might I add, I can see why the Dallas Mavericks, again, I'm not saying I would make that move, but I could see why the Dallas Mavericks would trade a Luka for Anthony Davis. Because when you look at what's left over, that is a team that can compete for a championship, especially in the Western Conference. That's a big team. But when the trade happened, and you hear all the reports coming out about, how the Mavericks viewed Luka and their fears about Luka moving forward and their displeasure with Luka and his fitness and their displeasure with Luka and his defense. It felt like at every single turn, the Dallas Mavericks put out a story, put out a quote, put out something to discredit Luka Doncic in hopes to make the trade look better for them and to have the fans kind of come back to their side, because trust and believe, it has been tough sledding for the Dallas Mavericks organization when it comes to the fan base. You trade a 25-year-old superstar for another superstar-ish type player that has injury history. So it's been tough sledding. But like I said, while I don't believe in basketball or sports, guys, I do believe in the energy that you put out is also the energy that you receive. And when all the reports are saying that they were dishonest to Luka, it came out of nowhere, and you keep continuing to bash Luka on the way, you traded him. Okay, cool. But you keep continuing to bash him. I'm like, okay. Since the Luka trade has happened, what has happened with the Dallas Mavericks? Well, Anthony Davis looks like the superstar that you traded for just for him to get hurt. Then Derek Lively gets hurt. Then Daniel Gafford gets hurt. Now you have this Kyrie Irving injury. And then reports are saying that Anthony Davis, more than likely, because Kyrie Irving is out, and it's an incredible long shot at this point for Dallas to even compete for a playoff spot with the roster that they have. Now they're saying that Anthony Davis is leaning on shutting it down for the season because he's just not healthy. I'm not blaming anybody for these injuries, and I'm not saying that these injuries could have been prevented. All the injuries that happened were in game. You know, basketball is a sport, and you hope that nobody gets hurt, but you never know. But I do think it's coincidental, or let me say this, I don't think it's coincidental that all these injuries and everything that could possibly go wrong for the Dallas Mavericks since the Luka trade has happened. Kyrie Irving was having an all-NBA season. Again, if there was one thing that was going right this season for the Dallas Mavericks, it was Kyrie Irving. And thank God for technology. I don't think that Kyrie Irving's career is done. I think that he's going to come back. I'm not going to say better than ever, but he's going to come back, and I think he's going to be as shifty as his body allows him. He's undoubtedly the best handler of the basketball in NBA history. Yes, that's over Steph. That's over Allen Iverson, my favorite player. That's over Jamal Crawford. Kyrie Irving is in a league of his own when we talk about ball handlers. Kyrie Irving is one of the most vicious offensive weapons the league has ever seen. One of the reasons that outside of the All-Star game being what it's been these last few years, outside of the success that the one-on-one tournament has had for the unrivaled league, one of the reasons why fans have been so excited for a one-on-one tournament is to see players like Kyrie Irving excel, because he is a prime one-on-one candidate. Kyrie Irving is I think he's a first ballot Hall of Fame. And I do want to credit Kyrie. One thing that I say a lot is I want your play on the court, on the field, whatever sport, to be louder than whatever happens off the court, especially if it's negative. And I think that for a period of time, especially how he left Cleveland, what happened in Boston, what happened in Brooklyn, I feel that off the court was getting louder for Kyrie than on the court. And whether justified or not, because I think that a lot of the things that we talk about when we talk about Kyrie was his personal opinion. And a lot of people take his personal opinion, takes maybe some things that he did. Obviously, the whole tweet thing or the whole IG story and the documentary was a blunder. But I talk about a lot that people don't like individualism when it comes to sports. In fact, especially in a team sport, individualism is usually frowned upon. You want someone to be as uniformal as possible. Great, but uniformal. You want them to be all team. And people don't like when you have a personality. And I think that that's kind of what got in the way of Kyrie Irving. And on top of that, he was growing. He didn't know how to be a leader. He said that in Boston. He said that in Brooklyn. And one thing that I love about Kyrie Irving is he has stayed true to himself. There's a lot of things that Kyrie may believe, may not believe, that I don't agree with. But I also understand that I don't know Kyrie Irving like that. I know him as a basketball player, and I think he's a great basketball player. And his play this year has, in my opinion, allowed a lot of people to forget what happened in Brooklyn and what happened in Boston. And I think that he's been the leader that he has grown himself to be. He has to be. When you trade Luka, it's your team. Which is why it sucks to see Kyrie Irving go out like that. It sucks to see exactly what has happened to the Dallas Mavericks organization since trading Luka. And with the news coming out that I believe that they're trying to raise ticket prices by like 8% next year for Dallas. That's just horrible timing. My opinion, man, I understand inflation is a thing. I understand that. You want to make a profit, but this is a fragile time for the Dallas Mavericks organization and their relationship with the fans. You traded away the future. And you're hoping that what is in the present can allow them to, I guess, lack of a better term, forgive the organization in injury after injury after injury. Mind you, and this isn't obviously this doesn't compare to injury, but Klay Thompson hasn't been playing that well either. So it's like, what do they have to cling to? And now that you're talking about raising prices again, man, I pray for Kyrie Irving, and I pray for his mental. A lot of people don't understand, like, and even me, I played basketball my whole life. Obviously not on the level of an NBA player, but injuries suck. I've never had something as major. Thank God, I've never had something as major as an ACL, but I have broken, bones, and it's tough when you want to be out there and you can't, especially when basketball is what you do. So I pray for Kyrie mentally. I pray physically. I hope that he's able to return stronger than ever. And it's just crazy to see what's going on with this organization since the Kyrie Irving trade. I mean, since the Luka trade. It is crazy that in a span of, let's say, a month, the season is essentially over for the Dallas Mavericks. Oh, man, you stayed to the end of the video. I appreciate you. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss any content from your boy. You can also go back and watch past episodes, past clips, and don't forget that the Unpopular Podcast, new episodes drop every Wednesday and Saturday. Appreciate you.